Hi there, it's Mr. Clark. Welcome to lesson 12.CP.1. And for this composition project, you will be writing a pop tune. It doesn't necessarily need to be the specific pop genre, but popular in the sense of like post 1950s, rock, pop, anything in that, as opposed to classical, the popular idiom. So, at a minimum, you're going to be writing for voice and either piano or guitar, depending on what is available in your class. I can play piano, so that's always an option. You may also include bass and drums, as well as other instruments played by people in the class, and we'll do our best to find people and bring them in for composition performance days. You may either notate by hand or in a notation program of your choice, and our first step with this project is to write the chorus. Since this is typically the core of your song, contains the title and the central message or emotional valence of what you're doing. So your chorus should be 8, 16, or 32 bars long. 18 would be weird. You will sing the lead vocals in your chorus, so they must have lyrics and fit your vocal range. If you wish to have background vocals, consult with other classmates to make sure you write for appropriate ranges. If you write for a piano, you must write a notated part like you're used to, but I also want you to include chord symbols above the step. Doesn't need to be Roman numerals, but if it's like an F major chord, you should write F. If it's a C7 chord, you should write C7. If you write for guitar, you don't need to notate a part with traditional notation. You may just provide chord symbols. If you are using notation, remember that guitar is transposed down an octave from written pitch. If you write for bass, you must provide a notated bass line and chord symbols, and remember that bass is transposed down an octave from written pitch. If you write for drums, you should provide the basic beat and at least the first bar or two, and then continue as desired. So let me just show that to you. So we haven't talked about writing for drum set because we haven't written for a drum set, but this is a wonderful diagram which you can find in the textbook, and it shows you where to notate various things. So starting from the top, you have your crash cymbal, and if you had a second crash cymbal, you'd write it even higher. You have your hi-hat. That would be playing with sticks on the hi-hat. You have your ride cymbal. You have your two toms, your snare drum, floor tom, bass drum. And then if you're using the hi-hat with the foot, you would notate it down here. So this is, a decent sized drum set, not crazy, but if you're writing for a minimal drum set, you have bass drum, you have snare drum, and you have hi-hat. And you can write with just those three. So here are some examples of basic drum set beats. You may choose to adapt these or write your own. So here we have we have bass, bum, 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 bum. We have snare on 2 and 4, and then hi-hat on every eighth note. And this notation here means to just repeat the previous bar. So here, measure 3 is repeating measure 2, measure 4 is repeating measure 3, which is repeating measure 2. Here, you have a varied rock beat where you now have 16ths in the hi-hat, and boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch. And this notation means to repeat the previous two measures. So that means that we're repeating 1 and 2 over here. Here's a basic hip hop beat. Boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch. And this slash notation means to continue in the same style. It doesn't need to be an exact repetition, but it should be something that's similar in style and feel. So if you want to go bum, bum, that would be valid in this slash notation. And here's a more advanced hip-hop beat. If you want to notate out exactly what you want to happen, you can do that. Once again, we put the hi-hat on 16ths, and just spiced up the bass and snare stuff. And what we've done here is we have the slash notation again, so the drummer can adapt as desired, but up here, we've put what other people are doing so that the drummer can better support them. If you just put slashes, the drummer doesn't really know what's going on, when you're first reading, which will be the situation for your composition project. So this clues them in that way they can set up various figures that are happening in other instruments and vocals. So that's what we're looking at in terms of notating for drum set. And then some things to consider just aesthetically, artistically when you're writing are, what do you want your song to be about? What do you want your song to make people feel? Then how do your lyrics interact with the pitches you choose to create a meaningful melody? Do you want to emulate a specific style that already exists? Do you want to use a standard pop harmonic progression, incorporate some advanced harmonic language we've discussed in class? Do you want Neapolitans? Do you want augmented sixth chords? Do you want to modulate to a closely related key with a pivot chord? And then do you want to use a drum set beat associated with a particular style or create your own? So for these videos, I'm not going to be writing a new tune. I'm going to be showing you something that I worked on in fall 2021. It was incidental music for the school play, The Love of a Pig, and there was a scene that was in like a gym, and the director wanted some 90s workout music, but 90s workout music is under copyright, so he asked me to write something in that style. So, do you want to emulate a specific style that already exists? Yes, I was trying to emulate 90s workout music. So, let us take a look and find the chorus here. Here's a chorus. The song is called Here We Are, and the first words of the chorus are, here we are. So, harmonically, what's going on is not super complicated. We go from 1 to flat 7 to 1 to 5. And this 5, we have a bit of a suspension going on. Is that what's happening? Yeah, we have a 4 to 3 suspension. And then that 4-bar progression just keeps repeating. Bass line supports it, going from 1, minor 1 to flat 7, minor 1 to 5. And again, this was not written for this project. I should have chord symbols for both the keyboard and the bass parts. Here you'll notice that it's written for rock organ. This would be synthesized on a keyboard. Drum part, pretty straightforward. We just have bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, snare. And having that bass on every beat seemed typical of the 90s workout music that I was listening to as reference. And then the hi-hat switches from on beats to off beats and keeps alternating, just give it a little interest there. Every 4 bars, we just have a little fill on the toms. In terms of other instruments, I chose, instead of guitar, to write for a double reed section of 2 oboes and English horn. If you have 2 oboes and English horn available in your theory class, great, you can do this too. If not, choose instruments that are available in your theory class. The melody, pretty straightforward. Here we are tonight, having a good time. Here we are to stay. And then that just keeps repeating over and over. So not a lot of change. It's just little changes each time. Little change in the lyrics. And then we add the background guitar that is actually double reeds this second time, and we add backing vocals an octave higher. So that's what's going on here. I will see you next time.